Hello there, Kansas City, and Happy New Year. It's the first episode of Hot Mic with SSJ in the year 2022. And I'd like to first thank our wonderful sponsor. He helps make this podcast possible for you to listen to and to watch. Our man, Patrick Carter, kcfarmersagent.com. kcfarmersagent.com. You can click Contact Me, and you can request a quote. You can also text Hot Mic, HOTMIC, to the number 913-248-8861. 913-248-8861. Text Hot Mic to Patrick Carter, kcfarmersagent.com. And you could choose a local agent that supports the same community you do. Choose Patrick Carter of Farmers Insurance. Now we have our friend Todd Lebo here, who's the only one that will watch the same fucking TV shows that I will. I tell everyone, how can I be on the podcast? Well, watch some of the shows that I do. We have a wide variety. We're starting to get into rotation now. My dad is a regular guest. Jake is a regular guest. He was just here a moment ago and showed us a jar of, what the fuck was that? Did he say he makes?
Should I say it?
Yeah, what did he say it was?
He said he had some home brewed hydrochloroquine.
For what though? He didn't say what he was going to do with it.
It's like anti-COVID medicine.
Okay, so he had a jar of that, which looked like a...
Don't say what you said it looked like.
It looked like a jar of genital discharge is what it looked like. I don't know. There was stuff floating around in there, and he was real proud of it. It also looked like a little some chunky moonshine or something. I don't know what it was. It was in a mason jar, and he said, so that's what, on top of telling us why the Titanic never sank, in his opinion, he's going to have this for everyone to talk about and show us. I don't know what's going on. I never do with Jake, but he's a regular guest. And then we have Todd Lebo comes on, like I said, because he watches these shows.
Jake hasn't watched Yellowstone. We're going to talk Yellowstone today. And I was talking to Jake.
He would love
the show, but it's probably the cabal is running it. I don't know.
Right.
But
no, John Dutton's running.
I said what we need to do is an hour on Jellystone and Yogi Bear and Boo Boo. Hey, Boo Boo.
I used to like the Laugh Olympics a lot. You know?
Yes. I was telling him that... I'm from Independence.
Yeah, sure
all right?
you are.
And
let me see your teeth.
I got them all.
You're
This
good.
is before
Okay.
meth.
Fine. Yeah, well.
Listen, I grew up fine, okay? But
Did
I
you?
didn't grow up rich.
I'm gonna tell you what. Who didn't grow up fine was your dog.
He was attached to the garage,
Yeah.
and he had a box with hay in it and a bare light bulb.
Yeah. So in a cold night like this, he had some hay and a light bulb.
Cold night
right?
like this, my dad might allow him in the basement.
Maybe. Who would make that determination?
Him. That's
Okay,
Gary.
right.
So I was telling him I had a boo boo like a bear, but it wasn't
boo-boo.
it wasn't a real boo boo. This was like a
knockoff
boo boo. You probably lived on some knockoffs.
Where did you get that
in your
at Santa Caligan days?
I
What?
think it got bought at a garage sale, and I had a Clifford, the medium-sized orange dog. He wasn't red.
Wasn't a big red dog,
No,
right.
I thought it was my Clifford. And I'll find this thing. Maybe I'll bring my
Bring it in
Clifford
here.
Boo Boo because I think they're in a plastic box in my basement. And my Clifford, because Clifford he's all fucking red. Red
Right.
ears, red everything.
What's a big red dog?
Yeah, my Clifford was orange with brown ears. And they told me it was Clifford.
Right. Well, what do you care? It's still a
What
dog.
do I care? It came from somewhere.
And so...
So are we doing Jellystone or Yellowstone?
We're talking Yellowstone.
Okay.
And again, please listen to the podcast wherever you download your favorite podcast. And if you're watching us on YouTube, we thank you for that. Subscribe to the Hot Mic with SSJ
like
YouTube
and
channel.
subscribe.
So we can up our numbers, and so I can line my pockets with cash. That's why we're doing this podcast. Also to entertain. But,
Mostly for money for you.
Right, exactly. So Yellowstone is a show that I've heard people talk about for the last couple of years.
You know, you were kind of bullied into watching this a little bit because you didn't want to watch it.
I knew I was going to love it, but I like to watch things on my own time. I don't like to be told what to do.
You don't like to be bossed around.
Tell me, like, I'm not going to watch it. So I embraced this during the Christmas break, my Christmas vacation. I had 10 or 11 days off, and I knew that my wife would love it. She loves Westerns.
This was a true binge for you.
Absolutely. And I started watching this Yellowstone, and I just fucking loved it. And so I think I share this with most people. But man, can there be a better fucking character on TV anywhere than Rip Wheeler? And see, I like the actor anyway that plays Rip Wheeler, Cole Hauser.
Cole Hauser,
Dazed and Confused,
friend of Affleck and God damn,
what are you talking about? Friend of Affleck?
Ben Affleck and
Affleck, yes. He was also in Good Will Hunting.
Matt Damon.
Right.
They're buddies.
I thought you meant Affleck.
No.
Affleck.
He's their buddy. He was like in those shows. And
right.
He was in Good Will Hunting, and he's like their friend. That's how he kind of got in the biz. And he's not, he doesn't seem like he should be Rip Wheeler, but he's fucking great.
No, and so you look back, he, School Ties, Dazed and Confused, Higher Learning. He was a son of a bitch in Higher Learning. Good Will Hunting, Pitch Black. There's a Heart's War he was in. He was in Too Fast, Too Furious. Many shows that I've enjoyed over the years. And I was excited just to know that he was in this. But man, I didn't imagine how much I love Rip Wheeler. And his portrayal of that character makes this whole thing go for me. And that's why if they ever lose, and I know they can't now because of his popularity, you never know what you're thinking when you first write, like you're Taylor Sheridan, you write this character, when you first have this show come out and how it's going to appeal to the public. You don't know what character that people are going to fall in love with. They couldn't do that show without Rip.
No,
right? You can't do that show without Rip.
Rip is he is the unchanging. I don't know if it's a moral compass, but it's a compass of the show. He doesn't vary anyway. What he's got, there's no grays with him. It's black and white with him. And there are lots of people on this show who bend their hard and fast rules on this ranch, but he does not.
His motivation, he doesn't want to be anywhere else. He wants to be on the Dutton Ranch. He wants to be Yellowstone, and and he wants to be with Beth.
The weird
and
part,
nothing else. He needs nothing else to make him happy.
The interesting part about, I think, all shows, and especially this show, since we're talking about right now, you've watched this all within the last 3 weeks.
And it does give me a different perspective. So you're going to have to help me here.
Right.
Because theoretically, we're talking about season 4 and the finale, but I'm kind of talking about the whole thing, the whole 4 seasons, because I've watched it all over the last 3 weeks.
Because you don't know, like when you first see the show and you're watching it, it takes you a long time to figure out Rip's backstory. Where you learned it all in like a week.
Right.
So it's a weird way to kind of, when we talk about shows, it's like if you've watched it the whole time or you binged it, it's like it was a long time before you're like, I don't quite understand what Rip's all about. And it takes you, and then you get there, and then, you get, everything gets peeled away. And I think they've done a great job. And I don't know, I listen to a lot of podcasts when they talk about in the writer's room, breaking a story or a season and figuring out how you're going to do it. I don't know if they had everything kind of figured out. If we get to do this show for 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, when you're going to find out, did they know all the time that, this is spoiler time, right? That Jamie wasn't actually son of, or he was adopted. I mean, I don't know if they've known these different shows.
I've heard different people talk. Sometimes you know where it's going. You have an end in mind. Sometimes you don't.
Yeah.
That's a great question. But
because I think it's great the way they revealed that this year. And that's a big part of the thing, that he wasn't really John's kid. And, then you figure the whole shit out and everything. So I think it's really cool. And I do think it's interesting when you watch the show over the time and the waiting and the anticipating, or the way you watched it where you didn't have to wait for shit.
That fucking guy that plays Jamie's dad, by the way, he played the villain, or the kind of the antagonist in the Kevin Costner movie that I loved back in the day. Did you ever see No Way Out?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
And he was, he was the fucking guy that was trying to protect the president and everything else.
He's been
slimy,
in a lot of shows,
behind the scenes politician. And so as soon as Kevin Costner, he was in No Way Out. Anyway, and so like, for example, the season 3 cliffhanger, when, Kevin Costner's laying there in the middle of the road, shot up, and they're attacking Casey, and Beth gets blown up. Like, I had to wait about 15 minutes to find out what happened.
You're like,
and everyone else had to wait.
You're all good.
So, like, you tell me then, how much time has there been, like, in between seasons over the?
Well, this one was a little bit longer because of the pandemic. So a year and a half, maybe. Does that sound about right?
I don't know.
I think that's about right.
It was like I said, it was 15 minutes for me, and so I was fine with I was fine with it.
It is a lot of. Well, let's see. Season 3 was in 2020. So no, it really only about a year and a half.
Because the whole thing started in 2018.
Yeah, so they haven't really been long.
But that turned out that's 4 quick.
They did one a year, but then this one didn't start until November, and that one was in the springish summer.
So you're going to have to help me. I'm going to try to keep it to season 4, but then I'll say things and you tell me if I'm getting, that.
Well, I may get lost too. I may get lost.
Okay, so season 4, things that, let's get the bad shit out of the way. Things I didn't like about season 4 that I don't think worked. The character of Summer Higgins, played by Piper Perabo, who you might remember from Coyote Ugly.
Yes.
I fucking hated her character. She was the activist, the weird thing where she had the one-night stand with John Dutton, and I'm not really sure why he's so concerned if she's going to jail for 15 years or not, and I just didn't connect with that character. I didn't like her. I thought it was...
it was a weird
I wasn't a fan. I understand the way Beth used her, in those protests or whatever else, but I think that was kind of a swing and a miss. Every time it got to the point, okay, I'm done with her. I don't fucking care if she goes to jail.
She was just there.
Like, were you concerned? I'd like fucking send her to
They always
jail
gotta
for 15
have someone,
years. Right? But
they have to have someone for John to be involved with sexually in some way. I guess I don't know whether it's
it was the governor was great. I thought that was a great storyline. But this one I didn't. Yeah. I did like how pissed off Beth was when she showed up at the house and she was there, and that was good. I enjoyed that. And so and someone else that I've had it with, and I'm maybe people get mad. I no longer want to see Casey's wife, Monica. She's fucking always like got this sad sack look on her face, and she complains about this.
You got this great life if you could just have it,
right?
Why?
What the fuck?
Well, some people can't be happy.
What the? She wants to go back on the res and everything. Live in this fucking mansion.
Have you ever known anyone that
couldn't
be happy with their lot in life? And complained and worried a lot.
But does
have you ever worked with anyone like that?
Does she not complain about every fucking thing?
Yes.
And everything. She's got this look on her like, ooh.
Debbie Downer.
She is Debbie fucking Downer.
Yeah.
And she's rubbing off too much on Tate.
Yes.
Who's the son, and so then that leads me. And
they've put this fucking Tate through the ringer, by the way.
And Tate's lived a lot in his 12 years.
That's why my wife checked out on this show. We were watching it, and then when he was,
she didn't like when the brothers kidnapped Tate.
Yeah, and they kept. She's like, I'm not watching a show.
I like that. I like that one brother.
And I'm like, they're not killing this fucking kid. They're not killing this kid. She's like, I'm not watching this show anymore.
She didn't like it when they took Tate.
She bailed. That was season 2.
And so you have to help me. I don't know.
That was season 2. She's like, I can't watch this show.
And so I've liked Casey, right? I've enjoyed kind of watching him.
Like this Vision Quest
when he had his when he wasn't on speaking terms with his dad, but then he came back, and so then I liked Casey as the fucking what is it, the livestock
the deputy or whatever they're called.
And that was like he was kicking fucking ass.
Yeah.
And remember he went on that revenge tour. It's almost like the scene from Goodfellas where he's just fucking blowing everyone away. And this is like that would be a spinoff. Like Casey is the fucking
you get your ass kicked. And you get shot,
he's just
you get beat up.
And and I did like the flashbacks of him in the war to kind of give some context to what he's gone through. But no, the Vision Quest or whatever that was that he went through, even like during the finale, it's like, okay, fucking stop doing this. Stop this. I don't want this. Stop it. It got too much for me. And so you tell me if I'm wrong there.
They do have a lot of stuff going on in this show. They do.
But that part I wasn't a fan of.
I don't like to nitpick things because it's a great show.
Nitpick the fuck out of it.
Well, they got too much stuff going on. I don't need all this.
But I don't know, like, so then at the end he saw whatever he saw, but he saw a vision and it wasn't Monica, it was Avery, the girl that used to live in the bunkhouse that was there, right? And that he clearly there was something between them, some kind of attraction, and Monica picked up on that, and that's why she fucking hated her, right? But at the end he said, she asked, "What did you see?" And he said, "I saw the end of us."
Yeah.
But then they're like, what fucking else? What else did you see? Tell me what you saw. We had to wait to.
Saw my dead brother. I saw
Lee was just
shooting.
But Lee fucking wasn't Lee.
He got a little devilly.
That scared the shit out of me.
Yes.
Now that did fucking scare me.
That was
so
scary.
I don't know what. So what did he think? What did he see? He just saw them broken up. Like what he because his reaction, whatever he was like.
Yeah.
Did he see someone die? Like what do you think he saw?
I don't know.
Who was the woman that led him to the cliff?
Now you can't wait 15 minutes. You have to wait forever now. Now you're like everyone else.
But did you like that?
Did you like it? No, I didn't need that part of it.
Okay, I didn't like that either.
They could have done that in 10 minutes, and they drug it out for 2 episodes.
So now what I do like, and I thought was underutilized, and so this is a good point. Like you said, me watching this seasons 1 through 4 all in a couple of weeks, right? Early on, it was kind of pitted John Dutton against Chief Thomas Rainwater.
Right.
And I love him.
Yes.
I think he's great. And every time he's on the screen, I love him. And it seemed like it's gonna come to a head at some point.
And then
right?
they're like the enemy of my enemy is my friend or whatever. So then they kind of team up sometimes, and they kind of don't.
I thought he was underutilized in season 4
because they lose track of what's going on because there's too much shit going on.
But he wasn't on in there enough.
Barely in. He was only on when they kind of helped them figure out who was behind the killing stuff.
Like what the? And also, so what the fuck was that? So they just put her as bait when her car was broken down for this guy, and they kind of played it close, right? Mm-hmm. He had his hands around her throat, and he was gonna fucking kill her. And then you had Mo
out there with the gun,
way the fuck out there as a sniper, and fucking shot that guy. That was a little too close. I mean, you're right. But I love Chief Rainwater.
Yeah.
And I thought they underutilized him, and he kind of got lost in the shuffle of everything. I wanted more of him.
I mean,
I like Mo. He's an interesting character.
There's a lot of stuff in this show. When it happens when you have so many characters and so many storylines, because there's part of the reservation and the tribe working with or against sometimes the Dutton family. And then all of a sudden the dude, you never watched Lost, right?
No. Enough of it to where
the guy, I don't even know what his character's name was at the beginning of this year who got the rattlesnake thrown at him. He's just on there. He's just out of nowhere. Now he's just going to come there and go fishing in streams and start this shit. And then he
got fucking taken care of, though, didn't he?
And then the old lady who tries to face it down with Beth, because we're supposed to believe Beth's a corporate raider and she works for him, and then she doesn't. It's just there's a lot of kind of hokey shit. But it's
that
a fun
lady,
show.
that actress, was nominated for an Academy Award for Silver Linings Playbook.
Oh yeah,
she's an accomplished actress.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of accomplished actresses and actors on this show.
That speech at the end when she's like, "I'm gonna fucking she destroyed Beth's," and you never know if
and the funny part is like,
Beth.
how long do you figure season 4 lasted in time? Because Beth's face is still fucked up. Is it like 2 weeks?
But we were trying to figure this out
5
because
days?
Jimmy became a full-fledged fucking cowboy,
but her face is still fucked up.
But how long was he down there? How long was he at the 4-6s? We're getting out of
it. Seemed like months.
How long do you think he was down at the 4-6s?
It had to have been.
He went down there, became a cowboy, met a fucking girl,
learned how to
met
rope.
The vet. He fucking got engaged,
sold horses, went to cutting competitions.
But that had to be at least 6 months for him to learn how to rope like that,
Beth
right?
Looks like it was 3 weeks.
Well, those are scars. Those aren't going. But yeah,
I know,
right. But there were times where you thought, well, season 3 was just a couple of weeks ago or a month ago, but then Jimmy transformed into a totally different man.
Grew up.
6 months, maybe?
He turned into Jim.
Okay, so...
Now we're getting scattered because the show's scattered.
Okay, so I've gone through. I'm sick of Monica.
My other nitpick.
I want Casey to leave Monica for Avery, and then Monica and Avery to fight.
I don't really like the whole... It's kind of quick and lost a little bit that Jamie got this girl pregnant who used to be on his campaign thing, and that's the linchpin that his dad used to try to do all this shit from prison. His dad.
There was a lot of holes there. Well, there's a lot of holes in his dad now, too, or at least one in his head. After,
one big one.
Okay, so what I did like, and I've read several reviews, and then especially after the finale, I did the hashtag, Yellowstone TV to see what people were saying. I avoided everything like the plague, reading anything, because I did not want anything spoiled.
I'm going fresh.
Because I don't know what had gone on in 1, 2, and 3 as I was binge watching this. I was surprised at how many people didn't like the Jimmy storyline. Because I liked the Jimmy storyline.
Grow up.
I like seeing him go to the 4-6s and meet the new girl and leave the barrel racer and to go down there. And I'm fucking stupid. I get all wrapped up in this thing. And I'm like, my heart's like swollen with pride. Look at him. Look at Jimmy.
He's doing it.
He's happy down there. And Susan's like, you know what? They treated him like shit.
Yeah, they
at
did.
Yellowstone. He goes down there, treat him like a man. They, that one scene where they had, a nice plate wrapped in foil. Of a delicious chicken fried steak and green beans and mashed potatoes he ate there, and he's got a clean room to himself, and he's happy, and no one's fucking with him, and he meets the vet, and when he takes her to that cafe to have dinner, the other guy's like, hey, how you doing, Jimmy? And they treat him like a fucking man.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, I wouldn't want to go back to Yellowstone. I like the 4 6s. And so let's stop there. My favorite cameo from the season. I got such a kick out of this, and as soon as I saw him, I knew who it was. But then I had to stop because let me tell you something. You don't ever want to watch a fucking TV show with me, because every time I recognize somebody, I fucking pause.
IMDb,
and I'll say, but then I have to quiz Susan, and Susan's like, I know you know who these fucking people are. Don't fucking do this to me. She doesn't care. But then I'll say, who's that right there? And she'll go, I don't fucking know. Just push play. And so what I'm talking about is the old cowboy, the legend Russ. Mm-hmm. Remember one of the first guys that talks to Jimmy and brings him some food, right? Did you know who that was when you saw him?
No.
That's Barry Corbin. And Barry Corbin, you think back to when we were little kids, he went on a fucking run. He was Uncle Bob in Urban Cowboy. Remember Uncle Bob?
Yes.
He was the warden in Stir Crazy with fucking Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder. He was in Any Which Way You Can with Clint Eastwood. He was the sheriff in Six Pack. Remember?
Six Pack.
And then remember War Games?
Yes.
He was the general in War Games.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd piss on a spark plug if I thought it would help.
That is him. He looks way different because he's old.
Right. But as soon as I go, that's fucking Barry Corbin, because back in the day in the 80s, if you had Barry Corbin in your fucking movie, then you had a goddamn good movie.
FYI, as an aside, I was talking to my buddy Rob about these movies because he loves Yellowstone too. And for some reason, we got to
Rob
talking
on this podcast
about Every Which Way But Loose. And that is available on...
Look at me. Did I look at anything? Look at me. Did I look at anything?
No.
Philo Beto. Clyde.
So
right turn, Clyde.
Bing.
Philo fucking Beto.
I watched Every Which Way But Loose.
Ben has no idea what I'm talking about.
Last week.
My dad took me to the movie. We loved that.
Fucking loved it.
And remember Ma, played by Ruth Gordon.
Ruth Gordon from Rosemary's Baby. Wasn't she in that?
And boy, I loved it just because the old lady was cussing. You sons of bitches
want to make me take my driver's test.
Oh, I loved it. Remember that?
She couldn't get her driver's test. By the way, it's not a great movie. But it was great for us when we were kids. Look, you try to watch it now, it's like, it's not a great movie.
You know what my dad's favorite part of the movie was, and my favorite part, remember? Here comes the motorcycle gang.
The Black Widows were the most inept bunch of pussies there ever was as a motorcycle
by one guy over and over again.
They got beat up so fucking bad all the time. They were the worst.
Don't talk bad about that fucking movie or the sequel.
By the way, in that they're at the biker house. And there is a fucking swastika flag up there.
But aren't you glad Clint Eastwood kicked their ass?
They kicked their ass.
Now, okay, so now...
And Philo Beto, he let him win at the end.
But now you've fucking gone off on this tangent, so I have to say this. The one thing that my mother did not like about those movies, and she said was not believable, was Sandra Locke.
Yeah.
Who played Clint Eastwood's love interest.
In like 5 movies in a row.
Because she was his love interest in real life.
Yes.
And my mom would say... She's so ugly. How can anyone believe this shit?
And she was a real bitch in this movie.
She was a bitch in the movie, and she was not attractive. No. And I did not like to like. And the worst part of the movie was they'd give her the obligatory. Oh, she's on it now. What the fuck was her name? I can't remember.
I just watched it last week.
So she's she gets to sing a song.
Yes.
And it's like this isn't fucking good.
No.
Why are they showcasing her? Because
then she was also in Bronco Billy.
Right.
He was exactly right at the time.
Right, exactly right. And so she got all this fucking shit. I think he was in Barry Corbin was in Bronco Billy as well.
Probably. So as an aside on the side, I looked this thing up, and I don't know if these are accurate numbers. They cost him like $7 million to make Every Which Way But Loose. Made $100 million the movie. So
hell yes, it did.
Fucking made money.
Clyde was fantastic. Like when I was like 8 or 9 years old.
Hey, go back, Clyde.
You got an old lady that's cussing.
Yes.
You got an orangutan that's fucking punching people in the fucking mouth.
Drinking beers.
Right.
Don't let him drink unless it's on Saturday.
Like, you know what I liked? When, he played dead and he'd shoot him and
he'd fall down on the stump.
I was easily entertained, but you know what? But my dad didn't matter.
But I think
every Friday, the day that a Clint Eastwood movie would come out, we'd be there.
I think you can watch it on HBO Max for free. Go watch it. I think I watched it Christmas morning. I had nothing to do for a while.
Any Which Way You Lose.
Every Which Way But Loose, and followed by Any Which Way You Can.
Okay.
Every Which Way. I didn't watch Any Which Way You Can. I watched Every Which Way But Loose.
Don't talk bad about those movies.
I'm not going to talk bad about it. They're just not great. That's the worst biker gang of all times.
Well, they got their ass, but you had to have a foil. I like the Jimmy storyline.
I like Jimmy.
I like seeing him become a cowboy down
and become
there,
a man.
become a man. And so then he leaves, and this is the big debate that I was having with my wife and talking about this. So if you remember, he leaves Mia, the fucking barrel racer.
Well, she told him we're over.
Right. And she's if you
leave,
it's over.
Leave. But he has to do what John Dutton tells him to do.
But also, and she's also the one that almost got him fucking killed. Because after John Dutton said no more fucking rodeo. She's
FYI, you know what Rip would do if John said don't do something?
He wouldn't do it.
That's right.
And so
Jimmy needs to learn.
But Jimmy got influenced by Mia, and he knew that he wouldn't be able to have Mia as a girlfriend if he wasn't out there.
That pussy.
Yeah. Ben, I thought you were going to fucking talk to him. Obviously not. And so, yes, as you... he was influenced heavily by it. And he had never had a girlfriend. And so he was going to do whatever Mia said.
Yes.
Right? But then you see he's got to go down to the 4-6s. He's got to leave. And she just fucking says, you go and we're done. She didn't offer to wait for him. She didn't offer or any of that shit or to go down there with him. And so it was a power play. And all she wanted to do, she loved Jimmy for what she wanted to turn him into.
Right.
To make him into a rodeo star. If Jimmy wasn't going to be in the rodeo, she was going to be fucking done with him. Yeah. He goes down there and meets Emily, the vet, and she falls in love with Jimmy for what he is.
Not what he's going to be.
Right. And he doesn't have to go. So when he comes back, one of the best moments of the season,
girl fight,
was when they come back and fucking Mia is there. Why is she still there in the bunkhouse? She got fucking fired. Well, and there's no reason to be there.
And we've said this many times. Like you watch an old movie, the whole everything in every TV show, every Three's Company, every Seinfeld, whatever. If they just had cell phones, none of the stories would happen. By the way, these guys all have cell phones, and it was like a 14-hour drive from Texas to there. How come they didn't text ahead and say, "Hey, I'm showing up. I'm bringing a girl"?
But he probably wants to surprise everyone. He has no idea Mia's going to be there.
Yeah,
and so he goes because
there were some daggers
because his fucking girlfriend is still fucking with Wheeler.
Who knew the veterinarian girl was such a badass?
And by the way, I was more happy than when Lyle took Wheeler's fucking guitar and smashed it up against the wall.
You don't like Wheeler?
Because if Wheeler sang one more shitty fucking song.
I like he's an actual country singer.
Well, he needs to not be, because the worst scene of the fucking deal was when he went out there in the fucking barn and played a song while Beth cried.
You don't like that?
I had enough of Wheeler and his fucking sad sack face.
If Casey would live like Rip lives, Wheeler would have fucking been dead 3 years ago.
Absolutely.
Because they
took him to the train station and they let him go.
Because you know why? Casey's too nice.
And that was,
if everyone lived like Rip, the show wouldn't have any drama. It would just all be over.
That animosity, because every time. I don't fucking know her name. I know Mia's name, but who's her friend's name?
The blonde girl.
The fucking Jezebel.
Yeah.
And so she goes right from...
Jezebel?
He goes right from Lyle.
Poor Lyle.
Like, why is she fucking Lyle?
Because Lyle's fucking Wheeler. His old man knows how to throw it.
But then when they ultimately they put them in the fucking ring to fucking fight.
All day long.
They beat the shit out of each other. I fucking loved it.
That might have been a month-long fight.
Right.
That was like old school, like bare-knuckle boxing, 100 rounds.
And then fucking Rip has to go in there and finish him off. Yeah. I'm like...
This is my job as the manager of the bunkhouse. I gotta whip your ass.
Fucking Rip fucking whipped his ass in the fucking bunkhouse. You fucking whipped his ass there. I'm like, fuck, that's your guy. It's Lyle. That's your best man in your fucking wedding.
Rip is like true north on a compass.
I forgot
he does not fucking waver.
I was fucking dying during that fight between Lyle and
But now they're friends, and when Lyle went got it, he bought him this guitar.
Did you think he was going to buy a gun or a guitar?
I figured it was going to be a guitar because they were good the way they shot it.
I was disappointed. I wanted him to buy a gun and fucking shoot him the next time he fucking tried to sing a song.
I like singing and guitars.
That's fine. I'm being too hard on Wheeler. I just, one too many times. I wasn't a huge fan of his songwriting. But that's whatever.
The earlier songs are better. I didn't like that song. Beth just needed a good cry.
I didn't like it. So,
but and Rip sat there and watched this, and you know what Rip wasn't going to do? He said, I'll let her have her cry.
But he was also like, he knows, because remember they kissed. Beth and Wheeler kissed before. He knew there was kind of a weird vibe there. I wanted Wheeler. I wanted him to fucking step too far.
Rip to
and
kill
I wanted
him?
Rip to just fucking kill him with his guitar.
You're so mean.
No, so when Jimmy comes back, and then Mia and Emily,
That was a good girl fight.
That was a great fight.
Hey,
that was a great fight.
What's the best girl fight you've ever seen with your eyes? I'm not talking about in the ring, like any Muhammad Ali's daughter. You got to have a good girl fight up at Pius or something.
Gosh,
because I have mine in my mind.
Well, tell me yours, and I'll try to think. Of which one.
So when I was in college, I was just telling someone this the other day. The Ramones played at the Oklahoma Memorial Union in this ballroom.
What year was that?
This would have been, probably 89, 90, 91. Somewhere in there was when I was in school. And the Ramones, rock and roll high school. Oh, let's go. Those guys. The fucking Ramones played at the student union. And so we go to this concert, and there were no chairs or anything. It was just the Ramones on a stage and like a few hundred people there. And at the back of this fucking thing, a couple of rough and tumble flannel shirt Doc Martin girls started whipping the shit out of each other. And it was like scary girl fight. And we were just like, I'm not getting involved with this thing at all. So it was the Ramones and these girls whipping each other's ass. And there was like a bloody nose and some shit in there. It was bad. I don't know what it started up for, but that was the best girl fight. It wasn't quite as good as the bunkhouse, but it was pretty good.
So I would have been in grade school. So I'm guessing I would have been maybe fifth or sixth grade. And so you remember my cousin Tony, and every once in a while, my parents would let me hang out with him.
And you're talking about this is a sixth grade girl fight.
Something terrible would happen, and then I would.
That doesn't sound right.
You can't hang out with them, and it was. But anyway, there used to be a carnival that would come to town, and it would be up at
a carnival in Northeast. Super safe.
They had it at
the rides never had a malfunction.
Was it Northeast High School or Junior High? It was in Northeast, right?
All the carnival games are all on the up and up.
Right. No, it would travel through.
Sure, I know.
But then
hey, listen, I'm from Independence. Santa Caligon, same people.
But there was an Osco on Independence Avenue, and then they have a carnival there once or twice a year. And it was when fucking carnival comes to Northeast, we're fired the fuck up.
You'd win a goldfish that lasted for 30 minutes.
So we went. And somehow my cousin Tony, who was a couple of years older than me, got into it with some other guy about a girl. And then one of the girl's friends said something to the effect of, you stay away from the Ontiveros family. They're no good. Now, my mom,
you're like a sixth grader, and Tony's
something
like a
fifth,
high school or
eighth.
Yeah.
There's like three. So maybe I'm in middle school and he's in high school.
Yeah.
And so... for people who don't know, my dad's name is St. John. My mother's maiden name is Ontiveros, right?
Yes.
My cousin Tony Ontiveros, Romeo Tonio, as they used to call him. And so said something bad, disparaging about the Ontiveros. You gotta say they're trash, the Ontiveros family, whatever. Tony's half sister, Rhonda, hears that, and so my cousin Rhonda, don't fucking judge him, just telling you what was this in the. Known affectionately as Uncle Rhonda in our family. She and here's the deal. If you're a girl, you don't want to fight Rhonda. And let me tell you something else. If you were a guy, you probably didn't want to fight Rhonda either. She could fight.
Whip your ass.
She still could. And she goes, "What the fuck did you say?" And let me tell you something. She beat the shit out of this fucking poor girl. I mean, and that Rhonda might have been. So she was older than Tony, so maybe she was
late high school,
late teens, early 20s, and this girl was, old enough
to fight,
it was an older sister, so we're right around the same age. So you're talking about late teens, early 20s. She beat the shit, and I'm talking about like a real, like she was throwing bombs and kicking, and I remember. This girl had long hair. She grabbed this fucking girl by the hair and swung her by the hair, and her feet came off the fucking ground.
Don't fuck with Uncle Rhonda.
And then my dad fucking comes up. I heard there was a fight up there. Right? I said it was Rhonda. And it was
well, see,
I watched everything, so there I saw.
I didn't think this vet from the 4-6s was going to be as badass as she was. She was ready to fight.
Throwing hands. So there was a great fight.
She knew all the backstory. She knew about this, the spot that Jimmy had been put in by the barrel racer.
She knew the backs, but so
she didn't think she was going to see this girl either, but she knew immediately who she was, and it was just the antenna went up.
Here's the deal. This is what pissed me. Fucking Mia started it because he walks in there. And he goes, "My fiance," and so and what the guy said, that's going to go over like a fart in church. And so he comes in, and she comes up and slugs Jimmy. You fucking said it was over. What do you want him to go down there and just end his life and not fucking talk to any women or whatever? He met somebody that loved him for him. She comes back. And so, of course, I was impressed that Emily got in there and started throwing some fucking ass.
Do you have a good fart in church story?
No, well, that's what who doesn't? But so I'm you know, and that was a great fight. And then you kind of start to feel bad for Mia, because then you think about, man, she was with Jimmy after he almost broke his back. Boy, did she. Did all those things. But also she said, you know, you leave and I'm done with you. And what did Emily say? If you tell me to wait for you, I'll wait for you, when Jimmy was leaving the 4-6s. And then they get engaged. So I admit they got engaged. I didn't know they were, you know, and so they come back up.
I didn't know she was going to be going up there with him. I thought she was going to say, I'll wait for you and you go about your business and come back.
Right. I didn't know they got engaged. So, and by the way, do you know Mia, the barrel racer? Do you know who her dad is in real life?
No.
That's Josh Brolin's daughter.
Oh, really?
And so I love little shit like that, right? And so, I thought it was a great scene when Jimmy, and I was so proud of Jimmy when he went out there and they're trying to get that fucking, what was it, the bull, you know?
Yeah.
And he says he'll fucking rope him. They're all bullshit. He fucking shows off. I go, fucking.
He came back as a man. So happy.
But
I like Jimmy.
I thought it was a very touching and tender scene when all the bunkhouse lined up at the truck to say goodbye to Jimmy. And I liked that.
And that, you know, John let him go.
But it was, and when he said, you know what, you don't owe me nothing, but you've always got a place here. Rip told him, you've always got a place here. But then when they're driving off, that fucking Mia's parked over there, and I thought, oh shit, she's gonna have a fucking gun, and she's gonna fucking start. I go, she's gonna kill Emily. I thought she'd do something crazy, but she was just waiting to get one last look at him, and she's fucking crying. And I'll be honest with you, my heart broke for her. And there goes Jimmy off, but she fucked up. But there's got to be,
maybe she'll be waiting for him now.
And so I believe, from what I've heard, is there's going to be a 4-6 spinoff. I don't know. It should be Jimmy. It should be about Jimmy, and maybe Mia goes down there and all hell breaks loose. I like where they kind of left that.
Corbin.
But that was a sad fucking scene when she walks and sees him go off.
Maybe they'll have like a new marriage, an open marriage with 2 wives.
What the fuck?
They had an HBO show called that,
but
didn't
that's
they?
not what they're doing in the fucking Yellowstone.
You don't think?
And so I like Lloyd. I wanted Walker to be killed every time. I was fucking
He's probably
tired
a good
of him.
character actor. I don't know what he's been in.
What other character did I love from the bunkhouse? Who was my favorite?
Well, I forget their names.
Teeter.
Yeah. Oh, the girl. Yeah.
She was fucking fantastic.
She's a little rough.
And so, I
felt bad when they were. She was finally going.
Wait, when she got fired.
Yeah, when they were out in the stream, and they were finally going to and then these assholes came and whipped their ass.
Oh, that son of a bitch.
Yes, from the Lost guys.
From John Dutton's past.
Yes.
So anyway, yes, and I felt bad when she got fired because of what had happened.
She apologized.
Yes, but she's back in, and I love Teeter. And so I do. And look, I'm getting old. Whatever. I have closed caption up there, so I got to see.
For Teeter, you need that.
Well, I need it for everything.
But you definitely need it with Teeter. It's like watching Peaky Blinders. She's not really speaking English.
Here's your other trivia: who's in real life? Who's her dad? This will blow your fucking mind.
I hadn't looked this one up.
Her dad is no longer with us, but a tremendous television actor who had 2 TV shows that grandmothers everywhere loved.
Is this like one of those like Falcon Crest or something?
No, Little House on the Prairie and Highway to Heaven. Her dad
is Michael Landon.
Michael Landon.
Are you shitting me?
No. How about that shit?
Wow.
I don't know why that's like fucking A.
You know, Yellowstone's kind of like a Little House on the Prairie.
Well, I mean, that's just,
it's a new Little House on the Prairie.
But I like that. I like the fact that, so anyway, and she's one of my favorite characters. And so, and I think she's underutilized. So Jimmy, Mia, Emily go. So Jimmy and Emily go back down to the 4-6s. Jamie Dutton.
He's one of the most irritating people, and I understand why Beth hates him, because he is smug and kind of a puss.
But the looks on his face is when he's just fucking hilarious.
When he knows he got caught at the end.
Yeah.
And more than once, she has slapped him and punched him.
Fuck yeah.
And that's kind of what she does with him. He was the creepy kid in American Beauty.
Yes.
With
Wes Bentley's the
fucking, he had the camcorder and the and I understand, like, now we found out that he was adopted and blah, blah, blah. And we know, and we had,
But see, I didn't know why she hated him so much, why she was so mean to him. And then you find out what happened between them.
With the abortion.
And why she can't have kids now. Blah, blah. So, yeah, fuck that guy. Yeah. I hate him too.
Yeah, he was bad. And she's got this, that's the hammer she has over him forever. Because that was she gave the 3 options.
What were the 3 options again?
Option 1 was you go tell the truth, and then you go to jail, and then you get screwed over in jail for your whole life.
Right.
Option 2, I tell Rip what happened.
Rip fucking just kills everybody.
Rip doesn't shoot you.
Right.
Rip kills you in a bad way.
Right.
Rip gets medieval on your ass. Right. Option 3, they don't say on screen, but they go to break, and then we see option 3 at the end is you just handle this yourself and get rid of your natural father, which he did.
And he goes and dumps the fucking body, and he shouldn't have, because I knew that she was going to be fucking, something was going to fuck him over there. I thought, honestly, when he was dumping the body, I thought Rip was going to pop up, shoot him, and push them both over.
Yeah.
I thought I had that set up that way.
No, but she still likes to have that.
But she was waiting there with the fucking camera.
She's got him with Rip, and it really, I don't think John doesn't know either, does he? About the abortion?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. So she's got that, and now she's got a picture of him dumping a body. So she got him with the authorities, and they already have him because he's.
But now he's got a useful piece.
He is such a wuss. Remember,
what a fucking pawn he is.
Accidentally killed some lady.
Yeah,
and they tried to fake the kayaking accident. Was that season 2 or 3? But he's not tough enough to actually kill anyone, and he just did because he was so mad.
But at the end of the day, he does whatever he can to serve his own purposes, right?
Yes. Save his own ass. So,
but I think he plays a great squirrely character.
He does, but I don't like him.
I thought they underutilized him. He disappeared for too long at times in season 4.
That happens. But that's what happens when you have 75 stories going at once.
Okay.
But he's unliked by everybody.
Do you like...
Casey is sympathetic towards him.
Right.
A little bit.
He says that'll be his brother forever, you know? He wants him to still call him brother. But he doesn't know the whole story either.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so...
If he does, he may just kill him. So,
what did you think of the character, it's a minor character, but the character of Travis Wheatley, who is played by Taylor Sheridan, who writes and creates everything.
He's a dick.
He's a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
And you remember him from Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah, he was a sheriff for a while in Sons of Anarchy. You need to watch that show.
Do you like...
That's a biker gang that's better than the Black Widows in every which way.
Right, but I like fucking... I kind of like that. He's a
good character. He's all... fuck you, Jimmy. This ain't for you. No, you're not fucking driving.
How much the fucking seats cost and everything else?
I thought he was going to... wreck the truck just so Jimmy couldn't drive.
But I like...
because he was going to fall asleep driving.
So, I'll show my ass. I don't know what the fuck is going on at these rodeos. When they got these fucking horses fucking going full speed and stopping on a fucking dime. And
it's horse cutting or something. This is what Tom Watson and his wife... that's what they have these cutting. People do this. But it's like this big... It's this whole other world out there. I don't understand it.
I don't know what the fuck is going on. And for me, I don't know what I'm seeing... Every one of the horses that stops like that looks great. It looks the same. I can't judge them. I see
Did you ever
the horse
play?
Trying to block the fucking bull going this way and that way.
Did you ever play on the video games with your kids Need for Speed Underground with the
no.
What they call the stuff when you're drifting, like with the import? It seems like that. Is it good or bad? Sure, you spun your car out. That doesn't look.
But
any
I don't
worse
know what
than
I'm looking at.
Exactly. It's the same thing with this. The horse stopped.
I don't know if
that looks good.
I don't know if it's good or not. Like how you judge it.
And you jump it like this, and you're making the cow not move.
Here's the deal.
Sure, that looks good.
But here's the thing. I fucking love it.
Yeah.
I want to go to the rodeo now.
See that stuff.
I want to go to the fucking rodeo.
You want a road trip? Let's go road trip.
I'll go to the rodeo. But seriously, I don't know what I'm watching. I don't know if it's good or bad. I see this fucking horse fucking gallop and stop on a fucking dime and then fucking going back and forth and everything else. I don't know if it's good. But I fucking was enamored by it. I love it. I
like that better than the dumb horse racing stuff they'd have in the Olympics where they go jump over things with the little hat on and the little pants.
What's it?
That little course.
Equestrian?
Yes, I don't like that.
Yeah, I don't like that.
I'd rather see these horses.
I like this fucking horse going, yeah, absolutely.
Yes. I like real rodeo.
The barrel racing.
When I was a kid, we went to the American Royal Rodeo on a field trip in school. And with the roping and the bull riding and the bronco busting and all that stuff. I like that. And I remember, I have a very vivid memory. I must have been in 5th or 6th grade. We saw Jim Stafford sing Cow Patty.
Well,
remember that song? Cow Patty. They fucking sang that down there at the American Royal Barbecue.
I remember
not barbecue, the rodeo.
We went down to we used to go to the American Royal every year for a field trip,
Yes.
right? When I was at St. John's grade school. And so usually my mom would be the chaperone. My mom had signed up to be the chaperone.
Oh, Steven, stop that.
And she got sick. She had a really bad asthma attack. She actually had to go in the hospital. And so no one else. So my dad, dad was not interested in being a fucking chaperone. But he goes, oh, the rodeo, whatever. So we go down there, and I was in third grade, and there was a big deal. They have different like attractions to go down there. They had the Schlitz malt liquor bull,
the actual
in a pen
bull.
there, a bull, right? And that fuck, you can stand in line and take a picture of
with
this
the
fucking
bull.
bull. It's probably not the same bull. It's just a fucking bull that they said.
You think they
I
were
don't know.
lying?
Who knows? But they had a big truck, and there was a guy with a
probably
fucking
him.
Schlitz shirt on. He's there. And I'm there. And it's the third grade, and we're standing over there. And you got I think there was a nun, there was a teacher, there was my dad,
we didn't have a nun on
and a
our
bunch
field
of
trip.
kids. And I look, and the first thing I see is the biggest set of nuts
balls.
I've ever seen on anything in my life. And I guess I go, look at the balls on that bull. And then they all looked at my dad. God damn it, you make me.
And then you go get
but later
ruler
on,
across the fingers.
my dad was all pissed off because think about it. I've been on a chaperone on many field trips. If you're a chaperone on a field trip and it's your kid that fucks up, then it really looks fucking bad. It really looks bad. And I said, I might have said even, look at the nuts on that bull. Like screamed it out of my excitement. Why, as a third grade boy, was I so excited to see a big giant set of testicles? I don't know. But it was like I jumped out of I wore boots. I jumped out of my boots. And so
Did you have your rhinestone cowboy boots on?
I wore.
Oh, Jesus.
Do you understand that I wore cowboy boots all the time? Even in high school, I wore cowboy boots. I wore red cowboy boots in high school. And I used to get fucking fucking destroyed for it.
Another layer of the onion peels.
I wore cowboy boots all the time. And yes, I had my cowboy boots on. And so then my dad, damn it, you make me look bad. But then later on, he goes, those balls were pretty big.
Really were
they were the giant ball. I'm like, I don't know. That's excited me as a third grader. Like, I don't know, balls should be that big.
I remember getting cracked up at the rodeo because we were like I said, I think fifth grade or something. These are animals, and they're going to shit. So,
Well, sure they
the horse run around, got a tail up.
Oh
and
yeah,
then
that's
shit.
great. In third grade, you go to the rodeo, and I'm watching things
Nuts
shit.
and
I'm
shit.
watching balls. Like this is fantastic.
I remember. You remember the song "Cow Patty" by Jim Stafford?
Sing it.
Yeah, I'll find it on my phone. We could play 10 seconds of something, right?
Who knows?
Cow patty, and that cow patty was like another word for like a poop.
So anyway,
That
people
was funny.
criticize like
My favorite thing before we forget about Yellowstone, maybe one of the greatest weddings of all time. What a wedding that Beth went. And
I'm not. Okay, yeah, right. And she's got her breasts hanging out prominently, and like John Dutton's like, you can't wear that.
I want to have a real wedding.
Can we do this again?
Sure.
And
fuck
Rip
that.
doesn't give a fuck. And then Rip, okay. Oh. So let me ask you this. I love Rip, right?
Yes.
What the fuck was this scene where he goes and has that guy dig up his mom, where he takes the ring off that?
He's not told anyone where the ring came from.
Fuck.
So my wife was watching the very last part with me, and the ring, and I said, FYI, he dug his dead mother up to get that ring, and she said, what?
Well, I don't like. Well, the guy fucking said, what kind of conditions the body goes. It depends on who embalmed her or whatever. Like, was it that she? That kind of lost me. Like, what the fuck?
So if Beth's gonna love Rip forever, but if he said, if he said that was my mama's ring, I had to dig up the corpse.
She had been in the fucking ground for a couple of decades, but I dug up the corpse and got this ring. And he says, because I thought he was going to say something. Remember, he said, she goes, we was poor, Beth. It ain't much, but it's
cow patty.
Oh, here we go. Listen.
From the Badlands came the killer.
Oh, that's real good.
Yeah.
By the knife and the
Cow patty. Jim Stafford.
And he did.
sang
I
that.
bet you love that.
Oh, it's
but
great.
you remember when he puts the ring in, he goes, we was poor, Beth. He goes, we didn't have much. He goes, but it's yours, and so am I.
Yeah.
I got choked up.
Yeah.
I thought he was gonna say. I thought he was gonna say. I took this off the corpse of my mother that I had the fucking coffin dug. I'm like, what the fuck?
My mom was dying for me to get married someday.
Wasn't that a little bit much?
That was. There's been some weird shit in this show. That was weird.
Right. But then I'm anticipating him saying, had the corpse stuck.
Save that for your anniversary.
But then he said,
I love this ring.
But it was so beautiful. He goes, we didn't have much. We didn't have much, but it's yours, and so am I. Oh, Rip. But then I go, and I'm thinking, Rip, don't tell her where
I'm
it was.
pretty sure, like, you go to the jewelry store and you get that little thing. Instead, you drop the ring and clean it up. That little
But
cleaner
still,
on that little peg, and you pull the thing out.
Would her body have still been in that good a condition after all these?
It came off super easy. The finger came with it.
I had a lot of questions after that fucking scene, right?
Yeah.
And so that's. I'm glad you brought up the wedding scene. Did you like the character of Carter, this little bastard that
I did like him, and I thought she had kind of turned the corner, but when he called her mom, it broke my heart that she's like,
why was she such a bitch to him about that?
because she's a bitch.
Well, I can't have a mom. She can't have a mom. But
She is a bitch.
the scene with them, they went to the Western store, and he wanted that fucking.
That
shirt.
reminded me of little Stephen
She
St.
went
John.
over there. That fucking shirt is something I would have worn with my cow.
I want this fucking shirt.
But she went over there and slapped the shit out of him.
And that
that
lady's
fucking
like,
lady's
"You
fucking
can't
filming
do that."
it, and she took that fucking phone and threw it down. But
She's kind of a scorched earth person.
the other thing about Carter was, for several episodes, I'm like,
Get him a new shirt.
Can you give him some different jeans or a fucking bath or whatever? Yeah. Finally, at the end, they let him
clean
bathe
up a little bit. Yeah,
in
I like
clothes.
that kid, and I think he will be good because Rip hated him.
Right.
Rip is going to grow.
He loves
to,
him.
to be his dad. That's
well,
what
he
he's gonna
was when
do.
he was showing how to tie knots and everything
Yes.
else. But what I was disappointed
They had to break him like a young Bronco.
in that fucking impromptu wedding that you liked, because they're at where everyone was going to stand, and what did he say? He goes, I'm just the stall boy.
Yeah.
What
I'm the shit shoveler or something.
But there was a perfect point to say, he's going to stand here with us. I thought she was going to say, that's our son.
No.
And
then he said, Mama. No.
But they just let him fucking stand there like a jack off in the fucking wedding.
He was a witness.
Right? And Lyle was there. Okay, here's the other thing.
He's also a witness to a kidnapping now, too. He's an accessory.
He's got a lot fucking there. Here's the other thing that I have to fucking ask you about that has irritated me for all 4 seasons, and it fucking pisses me off. These fucking people waste so much food. This fucking cook, Gator,
he makes everything.
Cooks his fucking ass off. Like when that girl was there, he went and fucking made her a protein shake or a fucking smoothie real quick.
Fucking
walks off.
Yes.
He fucking makes all these delicious that one scene, they just gave a little bit of insight. Remember? He's standing there, he just made them biscuits, and he goes, that's the way you make biscuits.
Yeah.
I'm like, see, he really likes it. He's proud of his shit.
And I don't think, like the big house, I don't think they take that to the bunkhouse either. That just goes to
waste.
it.
They don't ever fucking eat their food.
It's a shame.
And that drives me crazy. Because
the
from
one
my
time
grandfather to my dad to me, you fucking order it, it's on your plate, you fucking eat it.
They ate that steak, though, when they stormed out and John ate the steak. He's fine, I can eat my steak in peace.
But I mean, how much good food, I'm always looking, there's so much food that they don't fucking eat.
I know. It's a shame.
And what was the argument? So
chili?
Does chili not have beans?
Well, Texas chili doesn't have beans in it. It doesn't.
Does chili, do you have beans?
I prefer, yes, chili has beans to me, but I actually don't really like beans. So I kind of like, they used to have over at Jason's Deli, they had Texas chili,
right,
and it didn't have beans.
So Texas chili doesn't have beans.
Doesn't have beans.
But I like beans in the chili.
I like a little bit of beans.
I'll take it either way. I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I'm fine.
But my point is, Gator works his ass off to make all this fucking, and he's always bitterly disappointed.
Yeah.
Because he said, no one's eating my fucking food.
He eats well,
I know, though, but wouldn't you like to have Gator for a week to make food for you?
When I used to work at the cafeteria in college, we were in the dish room in the back, and the trays would come down. The people would take their trays, they'd put them on a conveyor belt, and it would come back. There were 3 positions on the dish room. The first guy took the cups, and he dumped out the leftover drink, and they put them in these little containers, and then the silverware, and they threw it in this other container. The next guy scraped the food off into this trough that had soapy water that went down to this mulcher that mulched the food up. The third guy put the stuff on this machine that just went round and around. So we used to have to eat dinner at like 3:30.
Would you eat food off the fucking plates?
100%. Because it was all wasted. So you'd get these girls in college.
Not in the time of COVID.
No.
But back then, he'd eat it with
we
whatever.
had to eat our dinner at like 3:30. So it gets about 6:30. You're fucking hungry. And some girl would get out there and they would take a whole plate of food and they'd sit there and jabber and they wouldn't eat. And they would just throw this food. And it's like an entire, here's a not even touched chicken fried steak comes through. You want a taste? Of course. You'd have a taste on that. So that we were like Gator back there eating whatever. I've cafeteria stories for days.
Chicken fried steak story?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I was, I can't remember the name of it. There was a new
They
restaurant.
used to unwrap the Twinkies and set them on plates. And people, they would take the
Motherfuckers.
dessert and set it back. You're damn right I ate that fucking Twinkie.
There was a restaurant that I got a job at.
God, is this one of your 1 week jobs?
Yes, and I was maybe 19 years old.
Was this in between Gene's West?
My dad was away
Spencer's
in
Gifts?
prison. My mom and I were struggling for money, didn't have a lot.
I could give a damn about you struggling.
And so I was back there, and I was kind of an expediter, you know what they call it. I'd go and bust tables, or maybe
Whatever.
I'd take a drink order. I'd help. I'd do whatever they need. Or maybe I'd wash some plates, whatever. Wherever they needed me, I'd go around. So
you were like a Whit Merrifield.
I would see all these delicious. We had these. Yeah, this is gonna be fucking bad. These fucking gigantic. They had these gigantic chicken fried steaks.
Big
I think they
ones.
got them from Cisco or whatever. But
Bigger than your face.
fucking, and that's what that was one of the big things on the fucking menu. And I'd see them. They fucking look good. There's no chance for me to eat someone's. Or
Yes.
something. And so one time towards the end of closing, I went into the freezer, and I got about 4 of these things.
You stole.
And I fucking put them in my pants. And because I was done for the night, and it was my last act before I was going to the.
You were
fucking
walking
bar
right
night.
out. You're
And I was
stealing.
like, I could put these motherfucking things in my pants for about 30 to 45 seconds, get to the car and get them out of there because they're fucking frozen.
Oh, cold.
And so then I put them in my fucking
Shrinkage.
pants, and I've got like a fucking apron over so you can't see. The fucking waitress comes back there and says, "Hey, can you stay a little bit later and help me out with this fucking table?" And I got these fucking big ass
you're
chicken
waddling
in my
around.
fucking, and I go out there and I'm walking.
What's wrong
and she
with
goes,
you?
What's wrong with you? I go, oh, I hurt my back. I was picking up
My
that box.
back
over there,
is
and I'm
broken.
in there, and the whole time I'm thinking, this thing is gonna fucking freeze my dick off. There's gonna be a bad fucking problem. So it ended up.
Did you get 'em home?
It only ended up like an extra 10 minutes, but it felt like an hour. Oh God, fuck! I gotta get. So I remember I got to my fucking car, and I fucking these fucking things. And I think I didn't get.
Did you freeze or burn
I
yourself?
didn't get probably diagnosed, but I got freezer
Frostbite
bone
on your-
on the tip of my penis.
Listen, you got to put those outside the underwear. Were you not wearing underwear?
But it wasn't. Look, when I
Through
was
the cloth?
fucking trying to stick him in there, it wasn't like a perfect thing. I just shoved it. And let me tell you something. I went home. My poor mom.
What's wrong with your penis, Steven?
No, that's not what she said. But I go in there. I'm watching. She goes, what's wrong? Why? I go, Mom, listen to me.
We're eating like kings
Don't
tonight.
ask me questions. I said, I'm going to show you something. I think I might. I didn't tell her. I go, I think I might freezer burn.
I might damage my penis.
It was red. It was like my dick was embarrassed. It was blushing. It was so fucking.
You put a bomb on it. But you guys ate
I
like
said, do I
kings.
have to go? Should I go to the hospital or the nurse? I don't know because I'm freaking out. I go, oh my, it's gonna fucking be frostbite. It's gonna turn, and it's
You
gonna
don't wanna-
fucking
you don't want to lose part
fall
of that.
off or something.
Don't want to lose it.
But it was okay.
Oh, my
She
Did they ever find
know-
out you stole the food?
yes,
Then what
I
happened?
was fired. But she was,
We need to do every time we do this.
No, I
Tell them
don't
one of
think-
your jobs you got fired. That's one.
this is why I don't know why it's so funny. My mom.
Well, it's funny because
No,
you put fucking
no, 'cause
frozen
my
chicken
mom
fried
presented-
sticks down and hurt your dick and
my
got
mom,
fired. That's
my
why
mom,
it's funny.
No, my mom drew a hot bath.
Let's thaw out your penis.
And she drew this hot bath for me, and she put like Epsom salt. I don't like. What do you do?
Well, yeah.
And I sat in there, and it was
So
very,
were these shrink wrapped?
huh?
They were shrink wrapped, or they were just?
No. I don't.
Oh, they
think
were
so.
just breading
No,
on
I think-
breading on dick.
No, I think what I did was they were.
Vacuum packed or sealed or
I
something.
put something around. I can't. I just fucking it was quick. And I didn't. I only had a few seconds in there, and so then, but I could tell you this: the next day, I had the most delicious chicken fried steak with eggs
Ate like
that my
kings.
mother cooked. And it was wonderful.
Wonderful.
But it was very painful. So that's my chicken fried when you're talking chicken fried steak. And yes, that was another place that I got fired at. And that was within within a week of me starting this.
It really is a fucking miracle you worked here as long as you have.
Oh, fuck. Are you kidding me? I was fired 15 times before I got here. And I don't know, I don't know who fucking found out or how they ratted me out or whatever. And then I'm thinking, well, they probably had a camera and they saw me shove a bunch of fucking chicken fried steak into my pants. And that.
They were all barcoded. What happened to chicken fried steak
before we let you go and we end this podcast, season 5. What would you like to see happen? What is the storyline? What is something you hope for season 5?
Let's fucking kill Jamie somehow.
You want him dead?
Let's have Rip do it.
Okay. You want Rip to kill Jamie.
I want Beth to soften in some way and be nicer to that boy. That would be a nice thing.
You'd like the boy to call Beth mama?
Yes. Or, to be nice to the kid.
All right.
Let's get Casey back to reality. That would be good.
So I'll tell you, I want
And
Casey.
I want more singing in the bunkhouse with guitars.
Fuck Walker. Fuck him. I want Casey to leave Monica for Avery.
She's very cute, though.
And then I want to see, because they look almost exactly the same.
Monica would whip that girl's ass,
I want to see it, though.
That's another girl fight. She's tough.
Avery, remember, she was a fucking in the bunkhouse for a while. She's tough.
These girls are all tough. There's no one in that show is a girl who's not tough. I think every one of those girls is tougher than Jamie, by the way.
I keep saying Walker. So I want Rip to kill Walker.
To make it right.
I want Walker to try to kiss Beth again, and I want Rip to walk in on it. I want to hit Rip to rip his fucking head off.
The train station is right here, right now. You're fucking done.
And then I want Jimmy and Mia, and I want Mia to go down to the 4-6s and
have a fight
try
there.
again, and have another fight.
It would be nice if John, I know he's never going to actually have another real girlfriend, wife, because his wife died or whatever. But I'd like him to have a meaningful relationship with someone. That would be nice.
Not
for him.
Summer Higgins. I want her. I want her to serve her full sentence of 15 years.
A hard 15.
I want her to go to fucking 50, and I want to see her in a fucking hardcore women's fucking jail.
There we go.
We're talking about.
And then we have an Orange is the New Black mixed with that.
And finally, I just want people to eat Gator's food.
Eat that fucking food.
Eat his food. Todd Lebo, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, buddy.
Yellowstone is still one of your favorite shows, right?
I've known you for 20 years, and I just heard about the chicken fried steaks today.
Well, you don't usually go off and talk about how you had freezer burn on your penis.
I've heard most of your firing stories. That's a good one.
That was even one that I was embarrassed of, but then telling it again.
You know what? Sometimes we forget things. This is like therapy.
Right.
That just pops back in your head.
I needed therapy after that because I don't think that hot bath helped too much. That has been Hot Mike with SSJ. Until next week, the microphone is off.